Hello once again. Welcome back to beautiful Studio B. And today I'm going to do a video a little bit different than what I usually do. There will be no machining. This will be a short field trip. And where am I going? I'm going to northern Illinois to show you some windmills that produce electricity. There are thousands of these around here that are a blight on our beautiful Illinois prairie. I do not like them at all. I do not like the appearance of them all. Are they any good? Do they do their job? I don't know. The jury is out. You cannot find out if they are really economical or efficient and all of that. If anyone is able to tell me where I can read a report on YouTube or other places regarding these windmills and the subsidies and all of that, I want to know how much it costs per kilowatt hour compared to other methods of making electricity, because you can't get the truth. Nobody talks about this, so don't refer me to the Department of Energy. I mean, that's the KGB. I don't believe a word that they would say, but I'm very interested in knowing this, and here is why. So when the actual field trip starts here in a few minutes, I will be on a Polaris Ranger with my best buddy, and we will be going down private roads. Maybe we're trespassing, I don't know, I don't care either. And we're going to be looking at windmills that are going to be demolished. I will be right next to them and show you the cutting torch marks. They're all going to be dropped with by a demolition team. And I've seen the trucks working there. I've seen their trucks working in the truck stop nearby as they have breakfast and so on. So this entire field, I don't know, is 30 or 40. I'm not sure how many of these windmills will be chopped down. Now they're only 16 or 17 years old. I was there when they built them. But that is a little bit before I was making videos. I thought that I had videos on that. I thought that I had still pictures. I do not, unfortunately. But it was amazing to see them put up. And the hole that they dug for the foundations, I don't know how deep it was, 15 or 20 feet, with hundreds of tons of re-rod and concrete. You'll see that in the video. However, after they demolish these, they will chop 2 or 3 feet off of the concrete. It would cost $500,000 to remove it all. And then they will cover it again and it'll be farmed over. But very close to this, they will be building new, bigger, more powerful, more efficient, with the latest technology windmills. And that will be interesting to see. If and when I am ever able to obtain any footage of them actually dropping those towers, I will put it on there, but don't you dare count on it. Now these windmills are feathered. The blades are still in place. I was told they will remove the blades before they drop it. I don't know if that's true. I don't know what the point would be, because it's all going to be thrown away anyway. In the very near future. Also, as we drive these country roads, you will see some other windmills that are turning, and the head on them, the turbine, is a slightly different design. There is more than one windmill farm in that area. So don't confuse one with the other. Also, we will be passing by a burnt out one that burnt less than a year ago, 6 months ago. It was quite a sight at night, and the farmer whom I know that lives near that was so thankful the wind was blowing the other way, or that debris could have come onto his buildings. It was that close. Some of the farmers object to these, but they do not object to the check that comes monthly or yearly for the rental of the property. Now I know I'm talking a lot, but I hope some of you are still with me. But here's another question that I have. Now when they built these towers, you can't imagine the amount of energy that was used, diesel, gasoline, electricity, you name it, because they had to remove much topsoil, lay thousands of tons, probably thousands of truckloads of gravel, thick, and wide because the equipment that came in, the towers in pieces, and the huge cranes that reach almost 200 feet in height had to travel, and the ground had to be compact enough. Farmers complain that much of their land was taken out of the ability to farm because they needed these roads. They stay in place because of the constant maintenance that these things require. I was surprised how often they have to replace blades that have been damaged or vandalized or shot out and things like that. So it's not just something that they built and then, 20 years later we'll take it down. There's constant maintenance on those. So again, how much energy did it take at the steel mill to roll those plates of steel and then bend them and then move them hundreds of miles into place? So did these things ever pay for themselves is what my question is. And now they are removing some, at least in this area here now. So this shocked me too, that I so distinctly remember them putting these up, and now they're throwing them away and building bigger ones. And is it all a scam? Is it a fraud? Or do these truly make a lot of electricity, and are they efficient? I have heard, I'm only about 15 miles from a nuclear plant. Never had a problem with it. I love it. I was in the plant before they put it online with a group of teachers. So I know a lot about that, but I do know that it takes 4,000 or 5,000 windmills to create the electricity that one nuclear plant. Send me some information on that if I'm wrong or need a little correction. Leave me lots of comments. I'm counting on tons of comments if anyone is watching, what your views are on this. They're building a lot of solar farms around here. I might talk about that later, but if you build them big enough, you can actually run 2 waffle irons at the same time. So as we travel down these country lanes and get close enough to these towers, you're going to see that they have been notched the same way that we notch a tree. And then the cutting torches have gone around and weakened it, and maybe the wind will blow them down. Well, not really. I think that it'll take explosive charges to do that. And when they do that, of course, you won't be able to get anywhere near it. They'll have all the roads blocked and all of that stuff too. So, and I'm thinking that they are probably going to blow these charges up over on this side, and then this, and over the tower will go. And as I told you, they have already created several acres where this will land, and you'll see that the corn has been removed. The corn's only about this high. As I make this video, it's about June 10th, 2023, and this may be a temporary video. Now in this video, this will be, I have a brand new computer, and I will be making a feeble attempt at voice-overs when I show you the footage. Matter of fact, the sound in the original footage is pretty much hard to hear because of the wind, because we're moving, and the noise of the engine on the Ranger. So that's why I am trying to make a voice-over, albeit pathetic. Again, let me know if I'm wrong. I could be, but I don't think so. All right, let's start the actual field trip, and in the snap of my finger, I will be 50 miles from here, and I'm in northern Illinois. I'm not going to tell exactly where I'm at, although many of you will probably guess. Okay, it's June 2023, and we're in the Polaris Ranger, and looking off to the left here, you'll see the wooden construction mats, and I believe that is the area that the actual tower will fall and the generator will hit in that area, but I'm not totally positive of that because this looks a little bit longer than what the tower is high. And as we approach this windmill, and this is the actual one that I saw them construct about 16 years ago with the massive foundation, and as we get closer you will see the burn marks on it where the cutters have cut the notch and weakened it in other spots as well. The corn is about a foot or two high. The weather has been extremely dry in this area. And we'll stop the vehicle here right next to the tower, and then we'll move right around it so that you can see that everything that they have cut so far. Notice the silt filter, we just went by it, that's required by law. And then over to the north of it, you'll see another area that has been cleared, and I think that is where they will produce or put up the other tower. Look at all the bolts at the bottom that go into that foundation. The chalk marks where the demolition experts have marked it in red, and then black is where the paint burned off as they cut into it. There's a little stairs there and a door going into it. I have been in there, but that was before it went online, of course, and became secure. There are no security fences around here, as you will notice, and the tower is about 200 feet high, I'm guessing. You can see another one there in the background. There are at least 30 or 40 in this windmill farm. It's a massive structure. I hope that somebody takes pictures with a drone when it actually hits the ground. These are all construction roads, of course, in gravel, and that takes a lot of farmland out of production, which is unfortunate. Now I'm standing right next to the tower. That is my gnarly hand, and I will stick my finger in one of the holes. I'm trying to determine the thickness of the steel wall on this tower, and it appears to be about 1.25 inches or 1.5 inches, and that's just a guess. Must have been quite a cutting torch that they used, probably with a super long handle on it, I would think. Now we are traveling on a gravel service road that was put in when this farm was, this wind farm was first formed. We're going up just a little bit of a rise here. They like to put the towers on a high spot, and you will soon see a substation there where all of the power from underground is collected from the various windmills and then put online to the grid. Coming up a little higher here, there's the power lines up above and a porta potty for the construction workers. This road had to be thick enough and heavy enough to support the heavy equipment and cranes when they first constructed this farm. Pretty interesting, don't you think? In the foreground, you see some dirt piled up with caterpillar tracks on it. I believe that is the pad on which the actual generator will hit the ground. Note, of course, the height of this and that the blades have been feathered. Now we're traveling down a township road toward the other windmills, and the ones that are turning, of course, are in another windmill farm. There are several farms adjacent to one another. There's one that's already marked for destruction. It's beautiful country along here, and that's why I think these things are so ugly and a blight on humanity. But I like the electricity. Any farmland that was taken out of production, of course, will be reimbursed to the farmers. You can see there's an awful lot of windmills in this area. Well, as we travel down this road, I think one of the most interesting things is this burnt out windmill. It was quite a while ago, at least 6 months. And boy, did that thing burn from what I have heard. I did not see it, but again, the debris and everything fortunately blew away from that farm that you see there rather than on it, because it could have well started fires, especially around the hay and the burnables and the old wood and stuff like that, but they never did repair it, obviously, nor do they intend to, because they will drop that thing like a dead tree. But all of the oil and the cowling and everything that went around there burned, and I think there's at least 50 gallons of oil and grease in that gearbox, so that must have really been something. I have no idea what caused the fire, but we do know that happens from time to time. Well, they've already removed the blades off of that one tower, as you can well see, and it's about ready to drop. And now that the video is just about over, we'll scan the sky here just a little bit and see what else is happening. Not a whole lot, but there are some windmills in the distance there that belong to another windmill farm. And you can see what an eyesore they are here in Illinois. But just how much power do they produce? I really want to know. Please leave some comments. I would love to know and hear what you have to think, and make sure it is accurate, please.